voting tonight.
Joining us is Democratic Representative Joe Sestak from Pennsylvania. We call you Admiral because we like that title better than Congressman. Good to see you again, Admiral. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Great to be back.
So you've heard the charges, and frankly, when you look through some of the details of the plan, as anybody can do if they go to foxbusiness.com, because we have details, you see some stuff like, trails for all-terrain vehicles. I mean, is that really necessary?
I think, and this is really the Democratic responsibility, to be upfront about this bill. It is for both quick relief as well as for stimulating the economy. In fact, I argue, after going through Moody's model, that the majority of the first year is about quick relief. An example, Crozier Hospital in my district is laying off or consolidating 400 positions because it's not getting Medicaid assistance from the state, because they don't have enough revenue. So many people have been unemployed. Nor, when people are being fired and laid off, they have to pay 100% of COBRA. So what does this bill do? $90 billion for Medicaid and covering 65% of COBRA. So that money goes into that hospital so you don't have people laid off or put in part-time jobs where they don't have benefits.
Right.
This is initially about stemming that flow of 70,000 people a day who are losing their jobs in any industry.
But, Congressman, by the way, 3-star Admiral, we're delighted and honored to have you on. The thing of it is, over $800 billion, and it equals an exact number of opinions in Congress and how to spend it, right? And it's clear that the deficit hawks have flown the coop a long time ago. You really think $335 million for things like sexually transmitted diseases is actually good for a stimulus package and to help the economy moving? There's a lot of pork in here.
I honestly believe, and as I really do, that $825 billion is the minimum that is needed. Look, this is 5% of GDP. Back in the 1980s, when we came out of that recession, government spends 3% of GDP. And in the Great Depression, it was almost in 15% of GDP, but they did it after 4 years. This is preventive medicine, not to have more unemployed, as well as probably not to the end of this year. I'll give everybody that. As much as the Democratic Party and others are saying, shovel ready, you and I both know shovel ready, looking at the models, is pretty hard to do. We've just got to stop anybody, whether you're working in the arts, communicable diseases, or elsewhere, from losing their jobs. And so less revenues are given to the states and the federal government, which means more outlays for unemployment, etc. We've got to get through
Admiral,
this. And 825 is the minimum needed.
You're quite right in admitting that a lot of these are not shovel ready. In fact, the CBO came out with figures that only $26 billion of all this will be implemented by the end of this year. So it's going to be a while before these get online. And what happens if, these come online just as we're coming out of the recession?
We won't come out of this recession until the end of 2010 with this stimulus bill. We won't get there to 2014, the modeling shows, if we don't have it. We don't do this. In the next 5 months, the modeling of Moody's shows, we'll have 2.7 million people unemployed. Let me step back. The real issue here is the markets have already accounted and are expecting this to go through. Just like we failed on that first vote for the TARP bill to get through, and you had that market turmoil, which scared off Mr. Paulson from buying distressed securities. Now, if we don't do this, the ability of the U.S. government to have low Treasury securities is going to dissipate, and this is why confidence is such an important thing in this bill.
Admiral and Congressman Joe Sestak, it's always a pleasure to have you on, sir. Thanks very much for being here.
Great to be back with both of you. Thank you.
All right, we're going to take it back.